What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls? My name is Calvin, and I started an agency in May of last year, 2023. And my agency has done about $200,000 in lifetime revenue since we started. So in this video, I thought I'd go over a few mistakes. I could actually only think of 6 off the top of my head, but I've got some notes here. I'm going to talk about the 6 mistakes that I made over these last few years to get to where I am right now. Hopefully, I'm not saying that I fixed all of these mistakes. I'm definitely working towards it. But hopefully at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you a few things that I'm planning to do to actually overcome these mistakes and move forward. And yeah, let's get into it without any further ado. So, mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 is try to become an expert before even starting. I remember I'd spend days, months on end just planning, thinking, what niche should I serve? Which businesses should I help? What should I do? Should I get into ads? Should I get into video? Should I get into should I just get a job? I spend hours and hours and just pushing things forward, planning without ever taking any action. So finally, when I decided that I'm sick of this planning, I just want to do something. First thing I did was I just found a list of businesses and started sending like emails. It's something that you can do for free. It's a small action that you can take to actually push yourself to getting started. So that was mistake number 1. We always want to be a perfectionist. We always want to get things perfect before we decide to start. Like, hey, I'll give you an example. For these videos itself, I always had this idea that, why is anyone going to listen to me? I need to be perfect. I need to get to 10K. I need to get to 20K. I need to have a business that's doing $1 million, whatever it may be. And that was just one of the excuses that I kept giving myself. I'm not good enough. I'm not at the stage where I can do it. So I'm going to practice a little more. I'm going to plan a little more. I'm going to study a little more before I actually take action. And I think that is one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I was first starting out. And that's another mistake. And that is a mistake that most people actually make when they are trying to get started. It's commonly called analysis paralysis, something like that. So yeah, that was mistake number 1. Number 2, anyone who knows me knows that I've tried a lot of different things. I've started a lot of different businesses, small, and they've all been small businesses because they never really got anywhere. But I've tried a lot of different things, and I think the number 1 mistake that I made during that phase of experimenting, and I'm not saying that it was wrong to experiment and to try different things, but what I didn't actually focus on was solving a problem. So I'll give you an example. I started this virtual reality gaming experience where people would come by, they get a chance to experience virtual reality based on cool games like that Beat Saber and stuff like that. But it wasn't really solving a problem. It wasn't like people want to play VR, but they didn't have an outlet for it, or it really wasn't solving a problem. It was a luxury more than a necessity. And that was one of the reasons why just a year after starting that business, I shut it down, because it wasn't going in the direction that I planned for. And that's another reason why planning is not always everything. You just need to get started, and then that's when you know what you're doing wrong into better. So mistake number 2 was starting a business that didn't actually solve the problem. The reason why the business I'm in right now is, I wouldn't say booming, but it's doing well, is because I'm solving a real problem that these painting contractors have, that they're not able to get enough leads for their business, and they don't have a channel to give them consistent leads for their business. And that's really the problem that I'm solving with this agency that I'm building right now. So number 2, starting a business that didn't actually solve the problem. Problem number 3, or mistake number 3, I should say, is not focusing on the one right thing that's moving the needle in the business as far as revenue goes, and always chasing after distractions. I always wanted to avoid the tough work, so I chase after distractions that I convinced myself was good for the business, but in reality, it was just an excuse that I made to myself to push forward the difficult work and just keep myself busy so that I can tell myself that I'm doing something useful, I'm doing something worthwhile with my time. But at the end of the day, it's all just a distraction. So I'll give you an example. The agency I'm running right now works with painting contractors, painting companies in the US. Uh, their target market is homeowners who need to get their homes painted. It's a residential needs is what it's here for in the business. So I started off with residential leads, got quite a bit of momentum in the first 6-8 months. And then I had this thought that, maybe if I add commercial lead generation to my business as well, I'd open up a new channel of business. So I started to slowly neglect the clients that I had for my residential leads. I continued giving them the service, but it wasn't really up to the mark that I'd like it to be at. And I started focusing a lot more on commercial leads. And it was a completely different ball game, So with residential leads, the focus was on Facebook and Instagram to generate leads. But with commercial leads, the focus was on cold emails. So I had to invest a lot of money to set up the infrastructure to be sending out thousands of cold emails a day. I had to invest in an employee who could handle it. I had to invest in a lot of different things, invested a lot of time into actually building that up. And I spent about 6 months doing it. And then, at the end of 6 months, I sat to analyze the revenue that has come from cold email, from commercial leads, the investment that I've put in, the amount of time, the amount of effort. I analyzed all of that, and I figured that, I shouldn't have really done it. I should have focused on residential and really gotten to the point where I'm making at least $500,000 in revenue a year from the residential side of it before I even thought of expanding it. So, yeah, definitely some learnings there, which is to focus one thing that's really driving the business forward and not getting sidetracked by distractions. It's really easy to ignore the work that's difficult. An example of that would be I always knew that I had to do cold calls to get better at sales, to build my determination to really to push the business forward, and improve my conversion rate. Everything, cold calling is like training for war, so that when you actually go into the battle, you're equipped to handle the challenges that come up. So I would always push cold calling forward. I'd say I'll start tomorrow, I'd start next week, I'll start after Christmas, I'll start after this vacation that I'm going on. Similarly, recording these videos, I wanted to do this for over a year out, but I've always kept pushing it forward, saying not at that level yet. I'll start after after I hit 10K with my business, so I'll start after I learn this particular skill. And you just fill your days with distractions instead of actually focusing on the difficult work. And that's really something that I think that I felt to as well. So, yeah, I at the end of it, I realized that I'm going to do these videos not so much for the views and the subscribers and the attention, but just so that it gives me an opportunity to meditate on what I'm doing, to speak things out loud to myself, and say that, Calvin, you're pushing things forward, you're procrastinating, you're just delaying for doing that. And now it's time, set with me time. So, yeah, that was mistake number 3, which is not focusing on the right things that are pushing the business forward and just keeping myself busy with distractions and avoiding the difficult. Mistake number 4 that I made is, to be honest, I underestimated how much work it actually takes to build a business. I underestimated how difficult it was going to be to get to this point. I just thought, I'll make a plan. This is the number of customers that I'm going to have. This is what my revenue is going to be. This is my cost. This is my profit. Yeah, this is the plan. Easy peasy, let's do it. But that's not really the way it works. You've got to work hard. You have to build a lot of skills during this journey that you're on to get to a point where you are the kind of person who really deserves to own a business that's doing $1 million a year, right? Because it's said that we all get what we deserve in this life, and if you're the kind of person who deserves a business that's doing $1 million, or if you're the kind of person who deserves to be married to a woman, or if you're the kind of person who deserves to have kids that love you and will take care of you when you grow old, it's hard work, and you wouldn't get those things that you actually deserve. You actually deserve it. So that's number 4, underestimating how much time it actually takes to do the hard things and to get, that's what she said, to get to where you want to be. Mistake number 5 is relaxing too much. Yeah. So weird as that sounds, I always make this mistake that I'd take a step back and relax a little when things were going well. So there were a couple of times where I had some really good momentum. I was running ads, getting leads. I do about 5 to 10 meetings a week, get around 1 to 2 clients a week. And that was really pushing my business forward well. And then when I'd get those 2, 3, 4 clients, I just pretty much pause everything and focus on making sure that I was delivering the right service. And I didn't really keep the pedal to the metal and push the business forward, continue taking sales calls, continue getting new clients. I just sort of relaxed and said, hey, I'm at a good place right now. Let's enjoy it. Let's, whatever. But that was really a mistake that I made on my part. I could have continued to deliver a really good service, but put in the effort to keep pushing my business forward with new sales and new needs and continue to grow my skills, right? All that fun stuff. So, well, that was mistake number 5. And then finally, the biggest one of all, and one that I'm still struggling with, is wasting too much time watching movies, series, just mindlessly scrolling through reels. I just had the realization yesterday that when we're scrolling through reels, we're giving complete control of of the information that we're consuming to these apps like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because you don't know what you're going to watch. You're just scrolling, and then you watch 30 seconds, scroll, watch 30 seconds to a minute, scroll, and that's pretty much it. You're just consuming the information that YouTube and Facebook and Instagram want you to have, instead of mindfully consuming knowledge and be aware of where attention is. So I made this huge mistake over the last few years, and that brings me to the final part of this video, which is what I'm doing to get over these things. So number 1, the biggest thing I'm focusing on right now is reducing my screen time, just disconnecting from things that are not necessary. So I spend time reading articles, I spend time watching Netflix and so that's number 1. So there's I've stopped using my phone when I'm eating. I've stopped taking my phone to me and I'll literally to bed. I've without even realizing it, sometimes while I'm working, I just find myself scrolling through the news, or I just have some video playing in the background that's just white noise. I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm doing my work, but it's just going on in the background, and it really is a huge distraction, even though you might try and fool yourself that it's not. And I'm telling this to myself. I try to fool myself a lot into thinking that, these sort of a distraction is just something that is keeping me busy when I don't have anything to do, but it's just a big distraction. Stop fooling yourself. Stop fooling myself. I'm cutting down screen time completely over the next 3-4 months to see where it takes me. So I'm going to be recording one video a day for the next 100 days to get better at this, to get more comfortable at the camera, to get better at editing. I am I'm actually trying to have a fixed bedtime, which is about 1:30 or 2 a.m. so that I can wake up at least by 9 or 10 a.m. with the early and start my day. And yeah, I'm going to be doing 100 phone calls a day every day starting for today. So in tomorrow's video, I'm actually traveling tomorrow. I'm driving from Bombay to Goa. So probably in the video at the end of this week, I'll let you know how the phone calls go. And maybe I might try and record myself and post that session up on YouTube. But for now, that's about it. I outlined 6 mistakes that I made that I think I could have done better with it. And I'd be at a better place than I'm at right now. But it's better sooner than whatever that saying goes. At least I've come to that realization now, and I'm taking steps to go in that direction. So if you're on this journey with me, if you're trying to start a side hustle, the sick of your 9 to 6 job, and you want some freedom, you want to be able to travel while also make. Keep watching my videos, subscribe to the channel if you were here. Yeah, see you in the next video. Take care.